Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today we look at Akiba Strip episode 13, which wraps up the whole series, like, very neatly, for that matter. The whole randomness of this whole episode, just with the concept of them making YouTube references of people, like, being tricked and deceived to get more views on their channel, the fact of having to enter a secret base using a cheat code and a whole bunch of cheat codes and stuff like that, and this giant climactic battle between two giant creatures, which actually ends up ending with a giant, thing turning into a drill, which is like a reference to Gurren Lagann directly. This whole thing was just filled with some of the stupidest shit I think I've seen in a conclusion in a long time. But all of this made me laugh so hard. It was such an enjoyable episode, and honestly, out of a lot of stuff this season, it had probably the better climax and conclusion to a series that I've seen recently, which is kind of sad in a way, because everything just wraps up nicely. It's done. There's no going to be a second season probably. There's not going to be any continuation most likely. Maybe we'll get an OVA. They hint at something happening possibly in the future because the very climax of the whole episode ends with them being told they have to go to 100 years in the future because it's Tomatu and Mayo's fault. That's probably not going to be anything from an actual story perspective. They're not going to probably do anything with that, but it was funny. This whole thing was funny, and I love how it actually ends. And I'm probably gonna use that as my final image for this whole thing. But it ends talking about how it's Akiba. You're supposed to just dream big and also have just believe in anything that could happen. And that's kind of how the show has been going from the very get go. It's been doing this kind of randomness every episode. It's been going with gags. It's been going with anime references left and right. Like I said, the last couple episodes didn't have that many references. I'm kind of glad they brought that back with the last episode, almost like they realized they didn't have enough from the last couple, so they threw them all in at the very end. But you know, everything that was ridiculous about the show made it enjoyable to watch. It's not going to be like one of the best rated shows in the world, and I'm not going to give it a highest rating, trust me. But for the most part, if you see past the stupid crap that the show pulls at you probably all the time, and the very simple story, the very simple tropes and concepts, you get an enjoyable show. That's how this whole thing wraps up, to be an enjoyable show that, yeah, may not be everyone's cup of tea. Everyone's not gonna be like going, oh my god, did you hear about Akiba Strip? It's the best. No one's gonna say that. No one's gonna say this is the best anime ever. But people who watch it will definitely get something out of it. I think if you're a huge anime fan, if you love all the references that it throws out. I mean, it made references throughout this whole series, like Type Moon, of course. It made references to Ufotable. Gonzo had their own stuff thrown in there. It had Yu-Gi-Oh references. It had, like JoJo references. It had a whole bunch of different types of references throughout this whole thing. And that is what made this show, I think, so much fun for someone that, like me, who's seen so much different anime, to see it all here. You know, it's, I'll say right now, like, for the whole thing, because I'm obviously going to review the whole thing because this is the end of the series, like I said earlier. Story wise, it was a very simple story, but it was so much fun because they really went places with it. They tried a whole bunch of different things and made a lot of goofy concepts here and there, but it was a lot of fun. In terms of animation was definitely hit or miss. Like sometimes the animation looked really good, and sometimes it almost made fun of itself because of how bad it looked. But I think that's what they were going at with a lot of the episodes. Like they had sometimes really horrible animation on purpose, and that was the whole point of it, to make it on purpose. Some people might not see that though. They'll probably see it and be like, "Oh, it's just weak animation." No, it's done on purpose to be weak in those episodes when it happens. But it was fun. It was no issue with it. It was just a fun type of animation style. Music wise, probably the weakest thing about the whole thing was the music. I really didn't particularly care for the opening, closing, or anything music wise for this whole thing. Voice acting wise, though, I had no issue with that. I think every character fit their roles really well. I give credit to a lot of the voice actors and actresses in this one because they really had to play it on thick sometimes, and they did a good job with it, I think. But the overall, I think, main concept I want to get at is Akiba Strip is not going to be the best show ever, but you have to realize that this is definitely a show that's fun. And it's rare to say that about a lot of shows because a lot of shows try very hard to be, either very well done, or they try to be something very nuanced, or push the boundaries of animation, etc. Akiba Strip worked with its concepts. It worked with what gags it knew it was going to try to throw out there. It had a whole bunch of fan service moments. It was appealing to all audiences of anime watchers. So if you watched anything in your life anime wise, you probably got some reference in this somewhere. And that's the best thing about it. It's very rare for a show to do that. That's why if I don't review Akiba Strip as a whole, A through F, definitely have to give it a B minus. I was really floating between a C plus and a B minus like this whole series for the most part, because I never felt it was ever lower than a C. But every episode was always kind of pulling more toward a B, to like B minus at least, because honestly, like I said, I enjoyed the shit out of it. Maybe it's not going to be everyone's agreement with me with, well, you give that a really high score. Yeah, I gave it a kind of high score because I really enjoyed it. To be honest, that's my bottom line with it. So maybe it is a bit too biased with this review, definitely. But I think that if you see past a lot of the negatives about the show and you just take it for what it's worth, and that's a show that's all about gags and stupid humor, you'll probably very much enjoy Aqua Strip. Anyways, guys and girls, I hope you enjoyed the review. As always, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video. You know the whole nine. As always, until our paths cross again in the next review, have a great day, everyone. God bless you all. Bye bye.